Hey, welcome back to Nightly Nonsense, where we make some sense out of the nonsense. I want to take a small detour. I want to go back to some more roots. And I want to talk about my Hayfield Jesus, right? Recently, this week, I've been trying to get some hay done, and it has been a complete nightmare, right? Equipment is breaking left and right. Rain has happened when it shouldn't have happened. It's just been crazy, and it wreaks havoc on my life, right? And again, Jesus allows this to happen, right? God allows the enemy to rise up, to look like he's going to defeat us. Listen, God did that for Jesus. It looked like the enemy had won. He killed Jesus, God's son. The enemy thinks he won. If the enemy had any idea of God's plan, he would have never killed Jesus, right? He would have done everything in his power to never kill Jesus. But the enemy is sometimes allowed to raise his head up and to look really scary and to sound really scary and to breathe really scary, right? To do things that are really scary. Like sometimes our equipment breaks. Sometimes everything we touch just goes sideways. It's just not working. And it's funny because God revealed something to me that's not new in nature, and I've already shared it before, but I want to remind you of this tonight. Right? Sometimes God says, I love you enough that I'm going to keep your equipment from breaking. Right? All of us are like that as parents, right? We don't want our kids to get hurt or any of these things. I love you so much, I don't want anything bad to happen to you. But sometimes love allows the enemy to raise his head up. Sometimes love allows bad things, normal things to happen. Equipment just breaks. It just breaks. It breaks because it's old. It breaks because it's being used. It breaks because of all kinds of things. A friend of mine just bought a brand new tractor, right? 2 years old, really beautiful, expensive tractor. And this spring he blew up the electric on it. Wow. A little mouse nest was made. And when he went to start up his tractor this spring, poof, the whole tractor went up in fire. All the electrical systems, right? Sometimes that just happens. Could God have kept the mouse from making a nest? Yes. But sometimes God says this. Sometimes my job is to calm you. Sometimes it's going to be done on the front side, but sometimes it's going to be done in the middle and at the end so that you are a testimony to other people. Sometimes, Andy, I'm going to allow your equipment to break, and I'm going to supply all of your needs according to my riches in Christ Jesus, right? My riches in heaven. God sometimes is going to say, Andy, it'll be all right. We'll fix it. That doesn't mean he's not going to drain my bank account. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to have to take a loan. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to have to make choices or sell animals or none of that means, but God says we're going to take care of this. But what's important is that when we go through these storms, these crises, these things, that people are watching you. So what are they seeing when they're watching you? Somebody who's crazily overreacting to everything? Or are they seeing somebody who's calm, under pressure, right? Somebody who is, God's in charge. I would have wished that the love that he showed me today would have been that nothing broke. But I'm glad that the love he's going to show me today is that he's going to provide for anything that does break. Right? So think about that. I need you to chew on that today. Are there things in your life that you just thought, man, if God really loved me, he would not let the enemy show up like this? Maybe God really loves you so he would let the enemy show up. Maybe that's the only way other people are going to understand. Some people look at our lives and go, oh, man, everything they do is just perfect. Everything works out great. And they get jealous over this whole thing. Sometimes we need to be able to show people that even when it doesn't all work out all right, right? God's got this, right? God has this. So let me ask you this question, right? Does God have you, right? Whether or not his love prevents people from doing bad things to you, from bad events happening to you, or does God love you enough that he's saying, I'll let you go through this. I'm going to let you see the enemy. I'm going to see the agenda of the enemy, but then we're going to take care of it. Again, that's not your timing, right? Doesn't mean he's not going to use your resources. Doesn't mean it's not going to cost you. What it means is, though, that you're going to be okay. God's going to take care of this, right? It's Hayfield Jesus. Sometimes everything works out all right, and sometimes we just got to be all right when everything doesn't work out. Hey, I need you to chew on that. We'll see you next time. Nightly Nonsense.